for Junior University.
I'm Dr. Anthony Lazowitz, and this is Climate Connections. Take a walk around San Francisco, and on some blocks, you'll notice strips of green space on either side of you, running parallel to the sidewalk. This landscaping does more than just add beauty. It helps prevent an ugly problem: overflowing sewers. Like many old cities, San Francisco sends its sewage and stormwater through the same pipes. So during heavy rains, water rushes off sidewalks and down storm drains, and the system can overflow, sending untreated sewage into the bay. It's a problem that's expected to get worse as climate change brings more extreme weather. So a group called Friends of the Urban Forest is taking action, helping communities replace squares of San Francisco's wide sidewalks with soil and plants. These mini gardens absorb rain, so less water rushes off into storm drains and sewers. And the benefits don't end there. Assistant Program Director Carla Nagy says the sidewalk garden projects are community-driven, so they bring neighbors together and provide an opportunity to share information.
Educating people about the environment and the benefits of sidewalk landscapes is, I think, really important.
With each new sidewalk garden, this initiative is growing awareness about climate change solutions. Climate Connections is produced by the Yale Center for Environmental Communication. Learn more at yaleclimateconnections.org.
It's time for the KCAA Community Calendar, brought to you exclusively by Learn for Life, a growing network of public charter schools. The clear mission of Learn for Life is to motivate and mentor students who have dropped out of school and provide them with the personalized education and technical training necessary to advance their lives.
Here's a look at the KCAA Community Calendar. I'm Di Rice. Experience the West's railway heritage with the largest collection of locomotives, passenger cars, freight cars, and cabooses at the Orange Empire Railway Museum in Paris. Take a ride on the museum's demonstration railway and feel the clickety-clack of street wheels. Hear the train whistles and streetcar bells. Get a grand tour, visit the gift shop, and learn about the West's railway heritage dating back to the 1870s. Trolleys and trains operate every Saturday and Sunday from 11 until 5 p.m., including major holidays. Steam trains run every third Saturday and Sunday of the month, and special events are held throughout the year, including a major annual fall event and a spring rail festival. Make plans to check out the Orange Empire Railway Museum located at South A Street in Paris. Call 951-943-3020 for more information. That's 951-943-3020, or go to oerm.org for the Orange Empire Railway Museum. And that's a look at the community calendar on KCAA 1050 AM.
The KCAA Community Calendar is presented exclusively by Learn for Life, a growing network of public charter schools where students can complete their education on a part-time basis. To find a resource center nearest you, call 1-877-360-LEARN or visit Learn for Life online at learn4life.org.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Right before me, my newfound hippie side. Once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Would your children ride to see Mother Nature sigh?
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Welcome, everyone, to Smart Health Talk radio show right here on KCAA. And, of course, you can find us at 106.5 FM on the dial or 1050 AM on the dial. And I hope that you plan on staying with us for the next hour or so. I don't know what your plans are, but if you should happen to just get totally fascinated with everything that we're talking about today and not want to miss a single minute, then after the show, our podcasts go up on kcaaradio.com, of which if you go there right now, you could actually see us right here in the studio. And I just want to say hi to Di over there, our engineer. Hey, Di, how you doing? Well, I just have to brag to somebody, so I had to brag to Di, since she's right here, and you probably hear her giving you the weather and the traffic reports. So just FYI, that's Di, everyone. But I actually did 40 laps today in the pool, Di. Yeah. Okay, not bad for old broad is what I like to call myself, because I'm getting up there, okay, but I feel young. And that
You look great.
Well, that was only like my 7th, 8th time in the pool, from like going not even being in shape to, but swimming is like such a great exercise. And I didn't realize it, Di, until like that one time I told you I went from 20 to 30 laps. And then I couldn't even walk for like a week.
Yeah, we went swimming over the 4th of July weekend, and you know what? My ankles were sore. Of all things, my ankles.
Your ankles are sore. It just has a way of like pointing out the weak part of your body. Is what mine was, my lower back. So it was like bending over, like every single time I was moving. Or, or you get in like one position, it's like, finally, no pain, and then you don't want to move. That's what I hate, because I always have so many things
hurts
to
so
do.
good, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, I'm really kind of glad I'm going through this, because it's a reminder to me just how powerful that exercise is. Because you may think, do a few laps, but I had to ask today what. I had to have an idea on how far I actually went, so I can start keeping track of my distance.
Yeah.
That I'm swimming, but I guess each way is like 25 yards.
Okay.
So I did 1,000 yards today.
That's great.
Yeah. Right.
That's awesome.
Right on. So, just pretty proud of myself, because you know what? All you have to do is look back at some of our Ustream videos, everybody, of me, and you'll see that what happens when I get sick, I'm not exercising, or I get too busy. I was like working in my yard a lot, but went through a really bad period there, and boy, those pounds just boom. Man, they just come like right back on. And so it's like, I hit 60 this year. So it's like, okay, well, the rule from now on is, really one meal per day if I want to lose, and good meal. Good meal. But like yesterday, I had like huge giant salad. I put arugula from my garden, which every single leaf tastes like some really strong radish. Where like the kind you get in the store is like weak compared to my arugula. My arugula is like super strong. So I get like a head of romaine and I cut it. My arugula is too strong by itself. So I cut it with that, put some shredded carrots in there. Then my neighbor gave me these incredible Asian pears. Which are kind of like an apple. Have you ever had one of those?
Yes.
Yeah, I love those things.
Yeah,
and they're so good in salad.
Yeah, some fruits are really good. I had I had some salad and it had blueberries in it. Mm-hmm. I was amazed at. I want to say it was kale, a kale salad with blueberries. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the fruit, throwing fruit in there. I love to put raw organic sunflower seeds in there too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that adds like a little bit of extra crunch.
Yeah. A little texture's good.
Yeah, and then I harvested some all different color beets.
Really?
Beets. And some people may think, ew, Beets? Oh, you don't know what you were missing. Let me tell you. Beets, and like the roasted ones roasted with like some organic grass-fed butter or olive oil. You can even splash a little balsamic and salt on there. And balsamic vinegar actually helps you lose weight.
I have heard that.
Yeah, well, it's another one of those things that's like good for your gut bacteria.
Yeah.
So anytime you are, helping to increase the vitality and the numbers of your good bacteria in your gut, that helps you lose weight. And so that's why I am a huge supporter of probiotics. And I have my kombucha right here and that I made at home. And if anyone if you're wondering about kombucha, like we have a great interview we had with Hannah Camp. And this woman, she's been doing kombucha since like 2002. Okay. And she's got some big SCOBY production facility somewhere where she makes these SCOBYs, which are alive. They kind of feel like flesh. And you just make strong tea and you put sugar in it. They have a different kind that you can use honey instead if you want. But actually the bacteria and the yeast in there eat all the sugar. So it starts to turn like a bitter kind of taste. And I don't know, I had one that had been sitting for a while and I drank it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. And I was kind of like, did I just get a little buzz off of this? I was like, hey, I'm feeling pretty good right now.
That's funny.
So I remembered Hannah during her conversation, her talking about she loves to have it first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
and
to get
now
the
I'm
buzz.
like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
now I
like-
see why
Yeah.
Hannah likes it first thing in the morning. Because you're fermenting. So there is definitely some alcohol. I really don't think, people are getting like, super buzzed or wasted on this stuff at all.
Like you could probably still go drive a car, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's a different kind of alcohol buzz. Than an alcoholic drink, because it's almost like an alcohol that we're supposed to have in a way that it's kind of like we found out like the skin on grapes, that dark skin that made wine good for us.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of kombucha, I think I could use it. Okay. That's called getting dehydrated. Tell me about your experience. Have you had any experience with kombucha?
No, it sounds weird. The name itself is weird. Kombucha. Where does that come from? Where does that originate?
They're not like really entirely sure about that. But we know that people that live the longest all around the world have fermented foods as a part of their diet. So this is something that you ferment with a SCOBY, which is a symbiotic culture of yeast and bacteria. And it just keeps growing. And then next thing you know, you have 2 jars, 3 jars, and you've got a little production facility.
Well, this says, I Googled it, and it says, how to make kombucha squash. It's not a squash, is it?
It's tea.
It's a tea.
I use the organic oolong tea. But you could use green tea, black tea, white tea. It just shouldn't be like a mixture of spices and herbs, because some of those can actually kill the bacteria.
Oh, kombucha drink. Look at this. Okay. Here we go. Wow.
Do you see what it looks like?
I just see it in bottles.
Oh yeah, look up kombucha, and then after that type space, and then SCOBY, and that stands for SCOBY, which is symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast.
Okay. Okay, so there's a picture of it. It does look like a T, but it's almost like 2, even possibly 3 tones here that I'm looking
Yeah,
at.
it's like it gets as big, the SCOBY gets as big as the jar.
So you're telling me it grows.
It keeps growing and growing and growing in like layers. And I started off with like a little teeny tiny baby SCOBY just like floating in the water. And now it's like some big old gigantor thing with like multiple layers. They grow and then it's releasing bacteria and yeast into the tea. And you actually do kind of get a sediment on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And you really want to kind of keep that there because that's kind of like your starter culture. And so you don't drink a complete jar. You leave like a couple of inches of sediment on the bottom, and then you add new tea. And then you put, like, I use my old linen napkins because those are like non-GMO cotton for one thing, but they have a nice tight weave.
Mm-hmm.
So you take and put that on the top, and then you put a rubber band. And that allows air to come in, but no buggies.
Oh, okay.
No, like little fruit
Right.
flies.
So the first time you had this, was it hard for you to drink?
Well, at first it was kind
'Cause
of like little vinegary
Uh-huh.
because the yeast, they just gobble up all the sugar. You can keep adding more sugar. And so, yeah, at first it was a little bit different, but now like I crave it. And like you can see, like I just got dehydrated because sometimes I go and I forget to drink. And that is so important. People die from dehydration.
Yes.
Yeah, children, they get really sick and they throw up and diarrhea. Then they can die from dehydration, not necessarily the disease, but the fact they got dehydrated. And also, I think that stalls weight loss.
I think, yeah, it helps digestion, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's like important. I'm really glad that you said that, Di, because actually the timing of drinking is important. And you may think, oh, it's good to drink a lot of water while you eat, but that's really not true. If you want to drink water, you should do it at least 30 minutes before your meal. And the reason is that stomach acid.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people take these antacids because they think they have too much acid. The problem is they don't have enough. So many people, their digestion is weak. You think about it. First of all, you're making acid, okay? You think it's that easy just to whip up some acid that's going to break a piece of meat down to nothing? Down to the micronutrients? You think it's that easy? And the fact that we can even hold acid in our stomach is unbelievable to me because that stuff can eat through meat. And the reason it doesn't eat through our stomach is because we have this special lining with
Right.
these specialized cells that somehow can hold the acid. But what can eat through is the Hylo pylori bacteria, which actually looks like a drill, and that is what causes ulcers. Like this one guy tried to say that this bacterium was the cause of ulcers, and he was laughed out of a doctor's conference in Australia when it was first introduced. And he identified this H. pylori bacterium that looks like a drill. It literally has a screw, like those
Really?
shells that are kind of shaped like a drill.
Uh-huh.
It looks like that, and it drills holes through your stomach lining, and then that acid starts to seep through that hole, and that's what causes ulcers.
Wow.
And so that's why they have to put people on these really strong antibiotics to kill the H. pylori. Now, is there another way to do it? I don't know, because I know that it is really hard to kill it. But after you've been through something like that, probiotics are just so important. I will never forget, because I had to have major dental work, cost thousands and thousands of dollars. So I had to take the antibiotics for the dental implants. And I never get a urinary tract infection. And sure enough, right after that, got a urinary tract infection. So what did I do? Did I take more antibiotics? Heck no. I knew that's what caused it because I
Right.
never get that. So I started on probiotics, a really strong probiotic, and BioK makes a 50 million. That's fine in the refrigerated, and Natron is another really good one. But I recommend to try multiple kinds. Don't just stick with one kind. They each have a different kind of special bacteria, so you can get multiple kinds in your gut. You don't want just one kind. You want a bunch of kinds because they're all could have a specialized skill that you don't even know. And they even think that there could be a gut bacteria that keeps you skinny.
Yeah, and you see them in the stores now all the time.
Well,
And
I know, and they act like they've come up with something miraculous when these yogurt companies were ripping people off for years because there was no bacteria in. They killed the bacteria. It was dead. And like all yogurt is supposed to have bacteria. So Activia comes out, oh, we actually have bacteria now. It's like, why don't you tell the truth? You rip people off all those years of the good bacteria. And now you finally didn't kill it. And there's like some real bacteria in there. But, the kind that I've been using from the health food store all these years, I knew to make sure that it had live bacteria on the label. But I started just every 4 hours making sure I had a dose of probiotics. And within one day, pain, everything gone.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good for your immune system, too.
Absolutely. That's your soldiers. That's your army, man. They're willing to like risk their life for you in a second, man. I want a bunch of those guys. I want a bunch of army guys out there willing to die and fight for me. No, it's just so fascinating because like even something like your lymph node is actually like the secondary inspection. Like you can't get past, it's like the border. And like you can't, even your own cells can't get past without going past the border guard. And the border guard says, let me see your passport. Are you really a self cell? And it says, oh yeah, I'm really me. I'm really me. Look at my passport here. See, I'm a self cell. And they go, okay, you can pass. Then you got like the guy that wants the bacteria that wants to make you sick, or it could be a virus, or one of the bad guys could be a fungus, could be a parasite. It's trying to slip past the border. Okay. Oh, I'm a self cell, and then it's kind of the border patrol guys kind of like looking at them. I don't think so. I don't know. You go over to secondary. And so then they'll send the suspicious ones to secondary where they do a really thorough check and they're like, aha, you are not a self cell. You are an invader. And they say, oh, we just tested, and they will literally take a piece of that bacteria or fungus. They have a little laboratory in your lymph node where they test it. And then they create clones just like Star Wars. That whole clone thing where there's just like all those like white guys with the suits, marching, thousands and thousands of them. That's what your lymph node does.
You should teach children nutrition. That's what you should do. I'm serious.
Well, it's pretty miraculous, and that's what antibodies are. So it took a piece of that invader, and then it created a very special soldier for that bacteria only. And it will have a protein marker, a protein pattern on the outside of that cell that's specific as an antibody for that particular bacteria. And so that's why I am such a big supporter of breastfeeding, because when a mother gives breast milk to her newborn baby, she gives the gift of all of those antibodies that you have built up your entire life. You then give that gift to your child. And to me, there is no greater gift than that gift of immunity. And you don't realize you're actually giving yourself a gift too, because if your baby gets sick,
Yes, that's a lot of work on you.
that's work, and it's scary. and there's risk.
Yeah.
There is risk that something worse could happen, especially when you have a baby with a weak immune system.
Right.
And I won't get into the whole vaccination thing. That is like so controversial. But bottom line, we're giving these babies do not have a completely formed immune system.
Yeah.
Their immune system, it's wide open there. It's vulnerable. It's weak. It's immature. And so, we need to like really be thinking about what we're giving our babies. But what upsets me are the whole pesticide situation. We have no babies born that are not exposed to all of these chemicals and pesticides anymore because we can't even get away from them. I saw a documentary on China, and it's really because of us that they can't breathe the air over there. Because of our needs, our desires for all this cheap
Labor.
stuff. Most of the stuff we don't even need. It's just creating more trash too. And there's like chemicals in their air that literally penetrate their lungs, get into their bloodstream, and it's extremely toxic. So they never open their windows. Like in Beijing, they never open their windows. I can't even imagine a world like that. But I highly recommend everyone to think about really kind of simplifying your life. There's probably a lot you don't need. And I go to the farmer's market. I shop at Clark's Nutrition, Trader Joe's, get a few things at maybe a couple other markets. But, really it's what I get from my backyard and from these other people. It really sustains us. And it's like very simple. Very, very rarely do I go out because I don't trust what food I find in these restaurants. I know where it comes from. We just covered like factory farms. There's like 7,000 just in North Carolina alone, and they're making literally billions of pounds of excrement waste is being produced. And when I went to look at this interactive map, which if you go and look on Pinterest, any of my social media, I did post a link to that. We're on Instagram. We're over on Twitter, Facebook, all that. But when I went to zoom in and actually see the real picture, because they had the whole Google Earth thing, it was nothing but warehouses. You never saw one single animal outside.
That's
They
sad.
never go outside. They live their entire life inside this warehouse. And I don't know. I just rather have less meat and have it come from a sustainable, humane source. I mean, I just feel like we're just, and just look at everyone so overweight, like this whole gluttony thing,
True.
like I must have more. And getting older, really, you got to get really disciplined because, like I said, I had a big salad last night, and then I had made, actually, I did go to this Aldi's. I found some organic chicken breasts, $5 off because it was
good.
expired. That day, but you know what?
You just have to eat it that day.
Or I put it in the freezer.
Oh, you did? Okay.
But yeah, I just actually took all 6 of them and put them in a crock pot with some rice vinegar, some water, spices, a little bit of olive oil. And after a few hours, I just took a spatula, a potato masher, and I had shredded chicken. And I made the most incredible enchiladas. Oh my gosh. And I make enchiladas different. I love to make it like my mom because she fried the tortillas. Mm-hmm. But every tablespoon of oil is 100 calories.
Yeah.
And those tortillas soak up a lot of oil.
Yeah.
So I have a whole different way. I'm going to be posting this on my recipe section, but I make a special kind of sauce I add other things to the enchilada sauce. It makes it thicker and a little bit not so spicy, kind of a little bit. I think more people would like it. But I use the sauce as the way to soften the tortilla. And it does kind of break a little bit. Mm-hmm. I use organic tortillas as well that I get at Clark's. But, it has in the end, you're just like chewing it all up, and so it's like, broke up a little bit. So what? I just saved 400 calories.
Yeah.
But they still taste like really good. Oh my gosh. And then like you can make tacos out of those. But the next day, then what I did is I took a bunch of squash from the farmer's market, some onions, you could add some peppers too, and I added that to the leftover chicken.
Okay.
And cook that, and then I took and put that over the lettuce.
Okay.
So I made kind of like a taco salad with the shredded chicken, and then I put a little bit of this Drew's salad dressing on there. But anyway, I had a big old giant bowl, stuffed my face, and it was mostly like lettuce and arugula. And meat, good source of meat, protein and all that. So, but then you could just throw all kinds of stuff in there. It's just, you have just a basic recipe, but I make giant salads, and then I put them in Ziploc bags. And then when I'm ready for a salad, I just go
Voila.
and just grab a handful, and it stays. When you get organic, fresh from the farmer's market, find one at eatlocalgrown.com, everyone. That stuff lasts.
Does it really?
It lasts way longer.
Because that is the problem I have with most vegetables, really.
And what you do is you go to the farmer's market, you come right home, you make your big salad, put it in the Ziploc bags, and trust me, it will last for over a week even. Even probably like a week and a half. It'll still be good.
That's good.
Yeah, and then it's just done.
So that
You
could
just
be an
get it over.
argument that you could make for people who say to buy organically is too expensive, because that's what I say.
I tell you,
It
Di,
is.
I
It's a
got
lot
lettuce
more.
this big. I mean, big old giant romaines for $2. Just picked organic at the farmer's market.
Wow.
Not all. not
what-
everything is.
What did
cheaper.
it cost you? What did it cost you?
Well, I figure the whole salad with everything probably, like $15. But the arugula I got from my backyard, the beets I got from my backyard that I steamed and added to the top of it. So, really $15, but that's multiple meals.
Yeah. So that lasts you a week?
Yeah,
Or?
like a week. And like sometimes I'm not the only one that eats off of it. So it's a lot of salads.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. It's worth it. And if you go to McDonald's or someplace like that and you really don't know where they put sulfites on there and all kinds of other things. And well, I just wanted to share with you too, Di, I have been so inspired over the past couple of weeks because the Asian citrus psyllid, I talked to doctors. I talked to doctors about the Asian citrus psyllid, and they say we have a wasp that can replace pesticides. I know from public health, instead of spraying for the Zika virus and for the West Nile virus, that we can eliminate standing water.
Right.
And not even have breeding places where they can flourish as one option. And I'm drinking more kombucha, everyone. We can educate everyone. We can even educate our kids in school and get them involved. We can try to, in our neighborhoods, first of all, people, if they don't even go and use all this Roundup, because you don't realize that you're killing predators in your yard that would get rid of the mosquitoes because you're spraying Roundup. And I tell you, I got a tool that I use, or you can use vinegar. People don't need Roundup. They really don't need Roundup because there's so many alternative. Ask the Bug Man. You can go there. So I've really, I started to get this, and I had a chance to talk to the CEO of Loma Linda at a city council meeting that I went to. And I happen to know they're using Roundup all over the place. And so we're talking businesses, cities, the parks, they're spraying pesticides. And I have milkweed in my yard, and I had a butterfly lay eggs, and now I've had like 2 monarchs come and they they fly around and they play. And I have all these other different kinds of butterflies. I got little yellow ones and gray ones and white ones and bees. And I'm just thinking, what if someone starts spraying pesticide and kills them? And when I look at the butterfly, it just like gives me so much joy. As a matter of fact, I have a really good quote that I would like to share with everyone.
Well, on
And-
that same note, Elaine, while you're looking for your quote, there was a bill that was passed, and I believe the San Bernardino National Forest is designated a certain amount of acres just to kind of bring back the monarch butterfly. Have you heard about that?
No.
Yes.
Tell me. Tell me what happened.
I've got to look for it. But acres have been set aside. They're planting more milkweed and other things that will bring the monarch population back in a bigger force. Because remember what it was like when we were kids? They were all over the place. Now you rarely see a monarch butterfly.
Well, and that's what I'm talking about, Di. I met a local woman that, as a girl, she grew up here. I know she must be like in her 60s. And she said this was like a pathway for migration for the monarchs. Right through Redlands, right over where the dairy used to be, near
Really?
Mission Avenue, up there by Barton Road. But get this. This is what I learned, Di, that the Highway 10 was the pathway. So when they put the 10 in,
Wow.
guess what happens? Splat, splat, splat.
That's
okay?
horrible.
They killed all kinds of them. So I even thought about contacting the transportation department because they probably didn't do an environmental study. And I'm wondering how much effort did they make to like reroute those monarchs?
Yeah.
You know, by planting the milkweed and trying to find a new way to direct them. It's like nobody even really seemed to care.
Probably nobody really knew. That's
Well, yeah, maybe they didn't do the environmental impact studies like we do now. I don't know, but yeah, they did know because this woman told me that it used to be like just a solid blanket of monarchs, and they used to like come and like completely cover a car. It was just such a sight to see, and so I thought, well, maybe if our communities all work together, we could all try together to bring these monarchs back. And so then I got more inspiration because there is this other incredible man. And just for those of you just tuned in and are listening to us talk about butterflies right now, where you're listening to KCAA 1050 AM or 106.5 FM. And this is Smart Health Talk Radio Show. I'm your host, Elaine McFadden. I'm a registered dietitian and with a master's in public health. And so I'm looking at public health from a multiple standpoint, not just the food we're eating, the environment we live in, our surroundings and how healing our surroundings, how happy do our surroundings make. All of these things actually play into our overall happiness and satisfaction in life. And I'm getting extreme satisfaction from growing milkweed and having monarchs come and visit my yard every day and all these other butterflies and seeing nature. Like how nature, like I'm right now, I feel like I'm getting this little picture window on how it can be again if we just all really tried. Well, there's this incredible man, I think his name is Tom Wong, and he was able, there's a beautiful blue butterfly that was native to San Francisco, and it practically went extinct when there used to be huge numbers.
wow.
And he's also like an etymologist too, I think. But he single-handedly, in just a very small space in his backyard, was able to create thousands of these caterpillars. And they're really cool caterpillars. They're kind of black with orange spots, kind of Halloweenish. But they're this incredible blue butterfly. And the body is kind of like the caterpillar, like black with the orange spots, but then it's blue and has eyes on it too, kind of like that pattern. But anyway, he brought thousands of them, and I thought, well, if this guy can do this, just think if we got all of our neighborhoods together. And when I talked to the UCR scientists who use the wasp for the Asian citrus psyllid, which they're spraying our citrus trees right on our property. The state is doing this. They're almost like trying to force us, but you can opt out, but they don't tell you can opt out. But anyway, they're coming and spraying these horrible pesticides. They're so bad that if they run off, we're supposed to call the state right immediately if a sprinkler turns on and they just sprayed and then the pesticide goes in the waterway. That's just extremely dangerous to invertebrates and all kinds of other fish and us. So we can use this wasp. It like lays eggs inside of the psyllid, so we don't have to spray, and it doesn't even have a stinger or anything. It's just a really good guy. But we have to make a bunch of them, and we have scientists at UCR, these really smart people that have proven the wasp works, and they actually have a test in a city in Arizona, and it's working. They don't need any pesticides. And this is the direction that we need to go. We just heard that like Dow and Monsanto are teaming up to make some super pesticide because none of the weeds will die anymore, which is the whole reason we had pesticides to begin with. They were supposed to kill the weeds, but they totally failed. So now we have resistant weeds. So now they're using stronger and stronger pesticides. And when is this going to end? And those of you may have heard there's horrible algae blooms over in the lakes down in Florida. And like it's just so thick and so stinky. People describe it as smelling like dead corpses. And no way you could go swimming in there. It's very toxic. They have to let some of the lake water out because it gets so high. So they have to keep letting it out. So they're letting this toxic water out to poison other waterways. Now, how did this happen? Why do we have this problem? Well, here we have Senator Marco Rubio. Okay, well, what happened? Well, the sugar industry is huge in that area. And guess what? They're the cause. That's right, the sugar industry, because they're using this natural gas fertilizer. That's what people are eating, where they get from fracking. And so they use that on the sugar cane, and it has way too much nitrogen than what we would normally put on soil, like compost. Way too much nitrogen. And so then that water from the sugar runs off into the lake. All this nitrogen is in there. So the algae just like multiplies like crazy because that's their food. And so then we have these huge toxic algae blooms, and it ruins it for everyone, all in the name of the conventional sugar industry that's using natural gas as fertilizer that's high in nitrogen. Now, those big sugar industry people paid Marco Rubio to make sure that they could keep dumping just like they had been and keep on polluting. Now, environmentalists knew a dozen years ago that this was a problem. They were ready to start steps to solve that problem. But no, the sugar industry and Mr. Senator Rubio, they blocked any kind of efforts to clean up the mess. Now, if we would have did it back then, the price tag would have been way cheaper because we would have caught it way before it got this bad. Now it's going to cost billions of dollars, where before it would have cost like millions of dollars. So Senator Rubio could get kickbacks from the sugar industry. The sugar industry was allowed to keep dumping runoff, and he also helped to reduce the quality of water, the water quality standards, so that they could keep on making it worse and worse, and it would be okay. So I don't know. I just like read this story, and I'm just like, I find it so upsetting. And I just think about like, do we have any way that we can make a difference here? Okay, Di, so if I pick this up and I hit number 4.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and now I'm going to try and make a difference right now.
And while you're dialing, you want to hear about the monarch butterfly?
Yeah.
San Bernardino National Forest was awarded a $100,000 grant over about 33,000 acres. They're going to use about 6 different locations with about 1,500 acres, and they're going to plant. They received the grant last fall, but now they're trying to figure out what to do. And what they're going to do is they're going to try and bring back butterflies where they've had like a lot of fire damage. And so it's a pretty cool 5,800 milkweed plants. They plan on planting 10 pounds of milkweed seed and 10 varieties of nectar-producing plants to feed the monarch butterflies.
Well, and actually, just yesterday, a report came out that said that monarchs are down 72% in California.
Wow.
So that is like such good news.
Yeah, and it says overall 90% in 2 decades. This is according to some scientists. I'm not sure, though, if that's...
Well, that's overall for the whole country.
Right.
Yeah, overall. And like I say, when I look at the graph of the monarch population, it's like we used to have big giant bars. Now we have little teeny tiny bars of the total population. And it's like, who is responsible for that? We are responsible. And so we can do something about it. We can all pitch in together and start by stop spraying Roundup around your house. And try to buy organic. When you have a choice, choose organic. Go to the farmer's market. Eat simply. Quit eating these processed foods. Quit going to fast food restaurants because that food is just making you fat. I guarantee you. You don't even realize they put chemicals in that food. They put chemicals in the cheese to get you hooked on it. They're excitogens. They're made in a special laboratory in San Diego, and they're actually stimulate the addictive part of our brain. Why do you like one hamburger or one pizza over another one? It's because of special chemicals that are in there to get us addicted to a certain flavor and crave it. So this is what happens. Now, everyone, if this sounds good to you, Elaine at smarthealthtalk.com. You want to get involved. I need people willing to plant milkweed. I will give you free seeds. I'm working on getting us some plants as well. And just email me and we'll find a way to get all that over to you. And also non-toxic San Bernardino County or the Healthy Alternatives to Pesticide Group. And you may have heard they passed the GMO labeling bill on a federal level, which is going to limit the accessibility of the poor and people that don't have a smartphone to know what's in their food because they're going to have a QR scanner on there. A smartphone is going to be required to actually know if there's GMOs in there or not. I highly recommend. Can I call right now? Okay, yeah. I'm going to call. Do I have to dial the area code?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, I'll do it. Okay, I am trying to call my local House of Representatives. Actually, that's on my federal House of Representatives. And will I hear in my headphones?
You should.
No, I don't hear yet. I don't hear anything.
You're the local. You're doing the local.
Yeah, I didn't do a 1 or anything. I just dialed the area code and the number.
You know what? Let's try it without the area code. I
don't even hear a dial tone.
I don't either. Okay, let's do this. Well, let's see. Hey, put the receiver down.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me try it. You want?
Okay. Well, anyway, that's milkweed. The reason we're talking about milkweed for butterflies for the monarchs because that's the only thing that they eat. And they eat the leaves, and the butterflies come back and they eat the pollen on the milkweed. So you have to have milkweed if you want to help the monarchs. And it's really easy to grow, and it actually generates like a whole lot of seeds. So once you get started, you're going to just keep on having plenty of seeds after that. And you'll be able to give your seeds to other people too so they can start to grow some milkweed. And I really think that we can bring back this entire area. I'm starting in my own backyard in Loma Linda, but I believe that we can bring this entire area back to being a monarch butterfly migration pathway and sanctuary where they cannot they can come here and not have to get sprayed with pesticide, and they can flourish, and we get all the enjoyment because we get to look at them.
Pete Aguilar's office on the line.
So do I just talk or I pick
Yes.
up? Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. The reason I'm calling, I'm Elaine McFadden, and I'm calling about the GMO labeling bill.
Okay.
And I was just wondering how Representative Aguilar is going to be voting on that.
You know, I do not have that information, but if you'd like, I'd be more than happy to take down your comments and pass them on to him.
Okay, well, yeah, I think a lot of people would be interested in that, and you should maybe find out how he's going to vote.
Sure.
But absolutely, I mean, I would like to think that he was a representative that wants to represent the poor as well, especially since, San Bernardino area and that we have a very high low income population, and that QR code that they want to identify GMOs on products with can only be used if you have a smartphone. So for someone that is in public health, I'm a public health dietitian, I want people to know if GMOs are there because it can cause a lot of allergies too for people. And not just that, but it has Roundup, which is a cancer-causing pesticide in it. So I want people to know if there are GMOs in their food with words on the label, not a QR code. So if you could pass that along to him, I would really appreciate that.
Of course.
Okay, well, have very many people called?
I'm not sure. This is the first call I'm getting in that regard.
Okay.
But may I collect a bit more contact information from you?
Okay, well, what did you want?
Well, your phone number, please.
Well, I'm actually on the air right now, so I can give you my email.
Sure. Whatever contact. We'd also like your address to see if you're a constituent.
Well, I'm in the 92373 area code, and Elaine at smarthealthtalk.com is my email. And then I got like just 30 seconds left, and I have to get off the air.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your call, and you have a great flight.
Well, thanks for listening. I appreciate it.
Of course.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. See, there you go. That's all it takes, everyone, to give your representative a call. And if we all start calling, guess what? It makes a big difference. And then our representatives actually know how we think. All right? And all of this plays back into how many pesticides are dumped in our neighborhoods, on our food, on our playgrounds. So when you call and say, I don't like this, it does make a big difference. And I just want to thank you for sticking with us and listening to Smart Health Talk today. We'll be back again next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. And please go find us on social media because I got all kinds of videos and information to you everywhere, including smarthealthtalk.com.
Be sure to visit our website
Thanks so much.
at
And
smarthealthtalk.com.
choose organic. Thanks. Bye.
Be sure to visit our website at smarthealthtalk.com. Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
You're listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. The best
CNBC
station
Radio.
in the
Another record
nation.
high on Wall Street today. Yesterday, it was the S&P 500. Today, it was the Dow. The blue chip index shot up 120 points, closing at a new fresh record high. The NASDAQ up 33, closing at its high for this year. And